Hello, welcome to Live from America podcast. Hatem is here. Noam is not. He's in Japan still, coming next week, living the life. But my good friend Dan Naturman is here, author and comedian, finalist at America Got Talent, and the author of.
Iris Spiro before COVID.
That's right. Great
Still,
story.
still available.
Still available, still there. And our guest of honor, good friend and comedian J-L Cauvin, and he's right here. Hello, J-L.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's been a while, buddy.
Yes, indeed.
And the big surprise that people don't know that in a few minutes we will interview the one and only Mr. President Donald Trump is going to be here.
Yeah, big get for the show.
And unbelievable. I cannot believe it. So first, I think I'll be the first Muslim to interview Donald Trump, but we'll see. So JL is one of the best to do Donald Trump, and he's going viral. I mean, he went viral before for years, and it's just like, dude, you are so good at it. It's incredible. How did this whole thing started? Did you even know?
Yeah, I mean, what's weird about it is that I started doing it. I used to be on the Adam Carolla show and do impressions for them, and then one day I just kind of stumbled onto trying a Trump. This was 2014 for no reason. It wasn't like, oh yeah, Trump is in the news. It was just like I just kind of was fumbling around with it, and then a year later he runs for president, and I kept working on it because he was on my TV like 12 hours a day. So it was the amount of material to kind of absorb every nuance and every verbal tick. It was like I heard his voice more than I heard anybody else's voice. And I don't think I was alone. I think plenty of people probably felt that way throughout his run and presidency. And it just kept getting better and better. And then I was doing a podcast, Making Podcasts Great Again, which I'm still doing. So that was like a week-long improv as Trump, but we didn't have any listen. We had like a very small fan base. But then 2020, when nobody had anything to do, I went viral. And then that, people kind of jumped into all the stuff I'd been doing for a few years when nobody had any idea. So it was good to have the kind of stockpile of stuff for, that's what we kind of do sometimes as comedians. It's like, I know I'm doing good work, and hopefully one day some explorer stumbles upon it and realizes, whoa, there's good stuff here. So that's kind of what happened.
It seems there's a difference between today's Trump voice and maybe younger Trump.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. When I look back, I remember just out of curiosity, I looked back at like my early Trump stuff, and it's like, I think the impression's not that good, but people did, nobody thought that at the time, but it was a much more faster Trump. Like, no, John McCain he's not a good guy. He was faster and more aggressive. And then throughout his presidency, he should have, he got into a sort of slower, and now he's just becoming an old man. Like now I have to kind of adjust it again, because now there's some slurring, there's some hoarseness. He's really, he's starting to show his age, which credit to the guy, if I can give him any credit, for a while, he really presented as more energetic and younger than his actual age. But now I think it's starting to catch up to him.
I feel like
I think he's still pretty energetic for his age, but
oh, sure.
Maybe not as much.
Yeah, in comparison to himself. Yeah, I look at Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, and I go, I like Biden, but I want to age like one of those two, who just, they seem, Bernie Sanders feels like he has more energy than I do right now at 45.
How old is Bernie? I guess I could look that up. But
I think he's like 80.
Yeah. But he's very he's very active. Like he walks fast and stuff like that. But I feel like with Trump also, and I said this is one of the reasons that I think that he was popular, is he have a stand-up comedian personality. Like he is a performer. Like he have a great comebacks, rude or not rude. I don't know if you like it or you don't like it, but you have to give him credit that he have that personality of a stand-up comedian. So is that something also helped you with
I think so, because I obviously do more making fun of him, but he does have, like you said, like kind of an insult comic vibe to him, because he's he's more made for entertainment than he is for politics.
Yeah.
So, when politics became entertainment, he was sort of at the perfect time for a guy like him. And also his vibe as an insult comic gelled well with a pushback on people not liking some political correctness. So it was like, he kind of went overboard, of course, with it. Whereas like you could say whatever you want, no matter how vulgar, and you could just say, you're being woke. Well, you said the N-word. I feel like that's not being woke. That's just you're behaving badly. But he created this kind of force field around him where it's like, oh, I just say what I want because I'm free speech and nobody's going to tell me what to do. And so, yeah, but for me, I think, I don't know if him being funny helped me because I made him the butt of the jokes, but it made him easier to watch early on because it was great entertainment. So I think I probably studied him more than I would have if he was boring.
That makes it, first of all, Bernie, by the way, is 82, I just checked. But because he's like that, it makes it harder to parody him because almost no matter, it's very hard to say anything that he actually wouldn't say.
And that's what the podcast point. That's what the podcast really allowed me to do, is that it's basically R-rated Trump. Like whatever you think of what you see on TV, there's never an abundance of taste in what he's saying, but on the podcast, I kind of go really into the gutter. Like this past week, we were describing what happened, the kerfuffle at Arlington Cemetery between like some of his people getting into like an altercation. And so I turned it into a thing like they were just trying to take a dump on somebody's grave that he didn't like. And all of a sudden they come up to me and they say, "Get away here, sir." And I go, "That's so rude. After they tried to kill me in Pennsylvania, some guy comes charging. So of course they took him out." So I just take it to whatever extreme I have to. And sometimes it's very vulgar because, that's, I guess, if you want to say challenge, but that's also the great freedom of a podcast, is that the audience is self-selecting. It's not like I'm on public television saying these like horrible things. It's kind of a fan base that knows, oh, JL's going to go to like R-rated or, X-rated Trump content.
Is there anybody in your mind that does a better Trump than you, in your opinion?
No, but I do like the guy on SNL. And I think, I look at him and I think he has, the thing that's my strongest suit is the sort of interview, we're at 60 minutes. No, excuse me. We're at 60 minutes and I'm talking shit. No, we're talking very serious right now. You're being nasty and I don't like it. Okay. And a lot of people here say you're being very nasty. Whereas he does the soft voice pretty well, but he leans into kind of the growl, like we're doing all this. But I like his, I genuinely like his. But those that, I think a lot of guys are probably partial to their own, but I think vocals, volume of material, innovation with it, etc. Like I would vote me as number one.
I would vote you too. And I think to your credit too, is like most of the people that do it, they also add makeup and stuff to it. Like they try to look like him as well, which is, while you do it, you just like usually just wear the hat or something. And
that was very lucky for me because the video that went viral, I'm glad it wasn't one where I was in costume. So people's expectations were that I'd just come up with funny material and put the hat on. Because I think if I'd gone viral with the wig and a suit, then I'd be making a lot less videos because they'd be like, "What are you doing in a t-shirt? Go put on the whole getup." And, and I think as far as me being a stand-up comic, I think that's the other thing that has sort of separated me from a lot of people who do good voices, is that, I've seen people doing it and they just, if they do a good voice or whatever, that's fine and people can enjoy that. But I think 20 years in stand-up and ad-libbing and all that really adds a layer to mine and an ability to just pump out a lot of stuff that other people maybe can't.
And kind of like what I said, also Trump being like a stand-up comedian personality, you can get away with, like, you can build a whole scenario. Like you don't have to just say, his voice and do something. You can come up with jokes, you can come up with situations like you do on your podcast. Right. So it adds a lot to it. And he's like one of the people, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like everybody can do impression of, but no one can do a good one.
Right. Well, and that was Arnold is a good example because I remember I had shocker, when I first started doing comedy and I was a real shameless hack, I had a very good Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I realized early on, and this was already 2003 when I started, so it's not like Arnold was new on the scene, but I had to quit it just because I was like, there's too many people. It's already kind of hacky. And so that's what I was kind of bummed about with Trump, is that, I've seen good ones. Like I said, James Austin Johnson, I don't feel any shame that he's on SNL. I didn't think Alec Baldwin's was particularly good, but James Austin Johnson, like, if somebody's good, you can't be mad that they got the opportunity. It's when they're bad and they get the opportunity that you can get a little jealous. But no, I think it's just when I see so many people doing it and I see a lot of bad ones, that you just go, well, that's just going to like dilute. People will be so tired of it that the good ones, they'll be like, another Trump. Even if yours is good, it'll just be like, it's too much, because there's been 9 guys going, excuse me, you got to do that. No, 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 no. And like, it's like, no, stop, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also with this is, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I feel like it's more like a lot of sounds than words, like stuff like that.
Get down.
Yeah. And obviously Arnold have like a smaller vocabulary library. So versus Trump is all over the place. So do you want him to win so you can
No, I didn't want, I mean, I was glad he lost in 2020. Allegedly, we're still looking into that. Maybe he didn't lose. But no, I want, like, for better or worse, I've milked this for all it's worth, and I'm grateful to fans I've made who've gotten it, but and supported whatever I've done. But it's like, I'm like, if this were a sitcom, I'd be like, okay, after 6 seasons, I'd like to, even if I never do something as big, and that's very possible. Like, I really got a lot of attention, over the course of this era, but it's okay. That can be a highlight of my career, but I don't want it to be the thing I'm stuck doing forever. And it's funny, when I was talking to some publicist in 2020, and I ended up, for good reason, not working with him, but he had said, hey, you got to strike now, because nobody's going to care about this Trump stuff in a few months. So we got to get you to, I was like, oh, okay. And I kid you not, when he said, all right, well, I have to go because I'm going to see Rich Little tonight. I was like, you mean the guy who got famous 50 years ago for Nixon? You're telling me the Trump presidency is still going on, and you're telling me you got to get out there immediately because this is going to fade, and you're going to see Rich Little tonight.
That's so funny.
And did not see the irony there.
That's so funny.
I do think, by the way, that Schwarzenegger is a lot easier than Trump, at least to get approximate. Anybody can do an approximate, even I can do an approximate Schwarzenegger, but I can't do an approximate Trump. I think
there's a guy I found on TikTok several years ago who does a lot of voiceover stuff. I don't know him personally, but his name's, I think, Joe Gaudet. And this guy's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm so glad I gave up Arnold 2 decades ago. This guy's Arnold is so good that, like, I feel like people should be embarrassed if they try to do Arnold, because I thought I had a good one, and so did my friends. And then I heard this guy, and I was like, this could be Arnold. Like, and I know voices, and I've heard a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this guy's off the charts, and he does a lot of good ones. But that's what I always wish. Like, some comics just, I've seen comics or impersonators who do very good impersonations, but then they realize where the money is. And so they do impressions that aren't that good, but they're sort of going to where the money is, not where their strengths are. And I'm lucky that Trump became so big for my sake, but I just try to do who I'm good at. Not like, I'll do a C- of this famous person and hope enough dummies go, you're awesome. I have enough pride as an entertainer to go, I still want it to be good. And I think sometimes you see people just kind of go, okay, I'll just do that guy. It can be a C+ because millions of people are searching for it. And it's like, I'd rather just do good ones, even if some of them are obscure.
And that's a great advice for a lot of comedians, because I see so many like have one joke that, that's really good, but it's not timeless. It's like specific. and they try to milk it so far and so much and bring it back. Remember when,
right.
I think if you're making any movie and there's part 2 or 3 of it, you should give it up, Bill Clinton is another one. Bill Clinton is a good, a lot of people do it. And I think it's on the easy part. Dan, do you do any impressions?
Not at a professional level. I could do basic ones. If I have a joke that's good enough that the basic impression will be good enough because the joke is good.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I think Greer Barnes does a great Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know.
And Godfrey is a real good impersonator. He does a lot of good voices.
Yeah. And Greer have this bit about Arnold in a porn movie. It's so funny, and it's
I do a serviceable Jackie Mason if I get in the, but no relevance at this point. So.
Do you see, like when you say Arnold having sex, it's like it feels simultaneously kind of hacky, but I'd also definitely laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, of course, it's going to be like, but it's as simple as it is. It will be fun.
I think the premise of the joke or the bit for Greer, it's actually not hacky at all. It's really good. I think like there's few words that he used that he can use anywhere. Like in porn, he's like, Mister, what are you doing? Get out of here. Like stuff like that he can use in any movie. So he bring it into and Godfrey have also a funny one. Like you're right. He's about like when Arnold reading the script. It's pretty funny. So yeah, well, I think if you want to get more, you can listen to your podcast, which is amazing. Also, you have a live show coming up soon.
Yes, I do. As Trump. This is like, it's so funny. So many fans, like they'll see me do stand-up and they'll go, that was great, but I wanted more like Trump and more of like the stuff that I found. So it's in New Jersey at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey, September 28th, 7 p.m., I believe. And it's basically, it's a live Trump podcast, but obviously there's a lot more to it. It's not like just us sitting at a desk doing it. It's, we cover the news, then we do a lot of fan interaction. We play games with the crowd. And it's like, it's honestly, even though my politics are very obvious, it's the kind of show, and I don't say this to pander because I don't, but it is the kind of show where like MAGA people have enjoyed it too. Yeah. Because they know he's kind of a cartoon character. Like that's kind of part of what they like about him. So it's like, you can't get mad at a comedian for making Trump like a big spectacle, when that's kind of what you like about him. So it's a very fun show. We've had real success with it the few times we've done it so far, and we've got a few lined up. And the first one kind of kicking off this pre-election season or election season is Rutherford, New Jersey. So
yeah, what's funny is like,
awesome.
I'm working on that show, obviously the one in Rutherford, and
it's improv. Like it's not like a set. That's kind of, not to brag on myself, but that's the thing. It's not a set like theater performance. It's all news that day, whatever crowd's there. It's like I'm Matt Rife plus Donald Trump in one horrific show.
I was worried when we were like looking for names for the show, when you suggested a few names, if you remember. I said like, let's switch a little bit, because after the assassination, I was afraid that people can think that he's actually there doing a drive and somebody come kill you. And it's like, I feel bad.
That's how my career would end.
Yeah, right.
Somebody like, assassinate a Trump impersonator.
He's so good that he actually thought it was him and they killed him. So, all right. So yeah, you can definitely come and check out that show at Rutherford, and you can listen to your podcast. But we're gonna start the interview with the former president, and possibly the next president of the United States. Are you ready, Mr. Dan?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you,
because I don't want to be in the same room as this guy.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the possibly next president and the former president of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Hello, sir. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. We love your show, Live from America. We love that it's from America, Live from America. They thought I was going to be dead in America when they tried to shoot me, but I said, nope, I want to be live from America. So great to see you. Hatem? Can I call you Hatem? I have a lot
Sure,
of
you can call me
haters.
whatever you like. Yes, yeah, it's
And
Hatem,
we got
right?
the Nature Man. Is that like Ric Flair, but like old, he was the Nature Boy, and now you got the Nature Man here. We like that. Strong guy.
It's pronounced Naturman, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, I know branding. I think you know that. I think, I know branding very well. And I would probably say, Nature Man is more of a strong sounding. It sounds like you carry an axe and you chop down trees.
Oh,
But
that's a
okay, I'll say
compliment.
Natterman. We don't want to, we don't want to get canceled. Like, oh, you didn't identify me by my proper pronunciation. It's probably the next thing. The left, they come after pronouns, and now they're going to come after pronunciation and other things that start with PR.
They come
Let's
after
talk about
proper
the
nouns.
yeah, let's talk about the debate. Like you did one debate and all of a sudden Joe Biden is out. Like you're so good in debating. What do you expect with the next debate with Kamala? How do you pronounce it? Kamala or
Kamala.
oh Kamala? Okay. Is
She
that the right
says
pronunciation?
Kamala, and I say, no, thank you. We're going to say Kamala. No, as you know, thank you for pointing that out because a lot of people keep ignoring the fact that I basically ended Sleepy Joe's career. Because I've been very good friends with Mike Tyson for a long time, and he called me. He called me after the debate, and he said, "Sir," he's a little higher pitched in the voice than me. He said, "Sir, you knocked him out better than I ever knocked out anybody, sir." And I said, "Well, thank you, Mike. That's probably true. I think Sleepy Joe might have to retire," and he basically did. So I think Koala Bear Harris doesn't want any part of me in this debate. Okay. Frankly, she's a horrible debater, and that's Democrats who say that, not me. So, but we're happy to debate her. I think, she's run from the media, she's run from questions. And, if I could take out Sleepy Joe, I think I can take out Cackling Kamala.
Can I ask? You mentioned Mike Tyson. Now the blacks did not vote for you necessarily in great numbers last time. Do you think that the blacks are going to come out big for the Donald in 2024?
I think right now we're having a little trouble with the black women, which, they're not very bright. So I don't mind losing their votes. But the black men, we're doing strongly with the black. Now, we're never going to win because the Democrats have brainwashed them for so long that some of them want to stay with the Democrats, even though they're basically killing them. But we've had a lot of success. We've gone to barber shops. Okay, I went to a Supercuts, and there was one black guy sitting in a corner at a Supercuts, and I talked to him very strongly. And we're doing great because they see that I'm pro-business. They see that I have a criminal record, which is very popular with the blacks. If you listen to your rap records, it's very pro-crime. And, they don't want to support Kokomo Harris because she's black one day, Indian one day. I think she's probably going to say she's Mexican soon. We don't even know what the hell she is. Whereas the black men see me as a strong, successful man, and that's what people want in America, especially blacks. The blacks want success, and I can give it to them, and kombucha can't.
But when you speak like this, you feel like it's okay to talk in this the way you're talking right now, the way you say stuff like that. I mean, like you don't feel people are gonna get insulted and
Hatem, we're dealing with Putin and Xi and Israel, and our allies are being attacked. Our enemies are getting strong and bold. We don't need nice talk. We don't need nice to. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, Xi. Would you not destroy us with AI, please? Thank you. No, we need somebody who will go toe to toe, right in their face, and say, my nukes are bigger than yours. What are you going to do about it? And we had no wars when I was in office. We had no wars. I simply said to Putin, I said, Vlad, do what the hell you want. We're not going to get involved. And he felt very comfortable and peaceful. And all of a sudden I leave and he starts doing war, which he didn't do with me. So I think the time for nice talk is very far gone. I could have done nice talk, but instead we had Sleepy Joe steal an election. And now we're sitting here with the world on fire. So, when a firefighter comes, to use the analogy, they call it an analogy. When a building is on fire, do you say, please knock before you enter and be nice? No, they knock the crap out of the door with an axe and they put that hose in there and they try to save lives. And I think that's where we're at right now in America. We're on fire. okay? And we have to put the fire out, and I am the biggest firefighter there is, maybe bigger than any firefighter ever. Very strong.
Wow. Yeah. Well
Can I
said.
ask if the assassination attempt has changed you? When you came within, a millimeter of death, that if you had turned your head this way instead of that way, you wouldn't be here right now. I was wondering if that gave you a new perspective, a new way of seeing things.
Well, as many people know, I'm a very strong Christian who's never been to church. And for about 2 days, I would say 2 days, maybe even three, I felt very religious and very faithful and very thankful. And then, like a lot of things after that, after a few days, it wore off. And, so I think I had good perspective, but you got to move on. I didn't like the fact that when I showed back up to the Mar-a-Lago, my wife, Melanoma, started crying. And I was informed that she was crying because I came home. I thought it was because I'd survived. But so that was, you know, that wasn't too nice by her, but we move on. Uh, so the answer to your question is I was very changed for about 48 hours.
Now, a lot of your political rivals, like Joe Biden, for example, expressed gratitude or good wishes when you were shot at, uh, and I was wondering if what you thought about that.
You can never really trust, I mean, you can trust me. That's what the people know. They can trust me. But most politicians, you can't trust. They walk around, they say three different things, all contradicting each other. So I think Sleepy Joe, maybe he meant it. I'm not going to say he didn't mean it. Okay, I don't want to say I don't know. I don't know. He might have meant it, but he also might have just been doing the political thing where you say, "Hello, my opponent almost got shot. It's proper protocol to say, very sorry to hear that, sir,' and move on." I can tell you, I wouldn't have said that, and that's because I'm more honest. I would have said, "Well, we love our Second Amendment." That's what I would have said if the tables had turned. But maybe he meant it. Maybe
Well,
he
you
meant
can't
it. I
you
don't
kind
want
of
to say
said
he
that
didn't.
when Nancy Pelosi's husband got attacked. You kind of like, weren't very nice on that. But I know we don't need nice people. I get it. I get it.
And Nancy Pelosi's husband, I wouldn't say that about. I say Nancy Pelosi is very tough. I actually have respect for her. I don't like her, but I respect her. But her husband is just her husband. He's not a politician or anything. So who the hell cares what happens to him?
Mm.
How's the ear, by the way? You were injured in your ear. I hope everything is okay.
No, it grew. It grew. Did you ever see the movie Wolverine? There's a new one, Wolverine versus Cesspool or something that's out in the theaters right now.
Well, I haven't
But he
seen that.
grows back. I think I have Wolverine sort of like DNA because the ear just sort of grew back. And as you can see, it's perfectly fine. The doctor called it a perfect ear.
It is a perfect year. You're absolutely right. You were talking about the chart when this thing happened, when the bullet went very close to you. Did you, like, if you can tell us the truth, did you actually reacted to it and avoided it on purpose? And why did you go down, right away? Because some people say like, oh, he was scared. Were you scared at any point at all?
No, no, I wasn't scared. They basically dragged me down. The Secret Service were yelling at me, get down. But people don't realize this. I actually sort of saw the bullet coming. I don't know if you've seen, there's a movie, might be a documentary. I don't know. It's called The Matrix. This was
Mm,
a very popular sort of movie many
yep.
years ago. And I sort of did that. I sort of just sort of saw the bullet in slow motion and just sort of moved. And I didn't move quick enough because it got a little piece of my ear, but most
Mm.
people wouldn't have moved at all. Most people would have been,
It's even like the
yeah,
Matrix. The first time he did it, it hit him a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
okay. We have
You
a
are the
Matrix
one.
historian. Very good. I might be the one. I
You,
might be the one. And the radical left wants to get in the way of the one. How about the radical left is like all those guys in the suits in the Matrix
yeah,
running after me. Very sad.
agents. Yeah, yeah. So now
Good.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask about your stance on abortion. Joe and the Democrats, they want to that reinstate Roe v. Wade, perhaps, or pass some sort of federal law. But of course, you're very much against abortions at any point in the pregnancy, or just late term abortions.
Well, I would say they talk about Roe v. Wade. That's the big case, right? It's called Roe v. Wade. I have a more important case called Trump v. Escorts. And I'm very pro-choice when it comes to me. Okay? Personally pro-choice, very pro-life for everybody else. Okay? And I actually said to my wife the other day, she has this son, Barron. It's a tall guy. He's a tall guy, very tall, actually. And, she was looking to send him to college, like they were deciding what college he was going to go to. And I said, are you sure you want to keep it? Because up until the 18th year, it's under Trump, under my personal pro-choice stance, up to 18. You have up to 18. But for everybody else, no abortions ever, anywhere for everybody else. I'm very pro-life.
If we want to switch it up, we'll go back to politics again. But there's this question I always, whenever I have a chance to talk to a president, I would love to ask. I ask them all, and I would love to ask you. You looked at a lot of the top secrets when you were president. Can you tell us if there's really aliens or not? And if there's aliens, would they like you?
Good question, Hatem.
Thank you. And would they like you? Would we be in peace with them, or would they come trying to take over it? What would you do?
You have to understand, if I get the election stolen from me in 2024, I will come back on the show and I will tell you what I know. But right now, it's important we keep it secret because I might be headed back to the White House in a few months. Okay, and at that point, we don't want to have the big story of Trump being, are there aliens? Are there not aliens? What's going on? But I can tell you the data, the statistics and the data that we've seen and the evidence is that we believe they are friendly. There are things out there. We don't know if they're like aliens in the traditional sense, but they are friendly. And they are actually very pro-MAGA, almost more MAGA than me. And one of them,
they know who you are.
I'm sort of giving away the secret. Okay, you got me. Yeah. We have one in Congress. Her name is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is actually an alien among us. And as you see, she's pretty pro-Trump. She's pretty pro-MAGA. So I feel safe. I can't say the same if we have a Koala Bear Harris administration, but if Trump is back in there, the aliens will be very happy.
So you would have a good relationship with the aliens.
Well, they respect strength, and they know that I'm strong, and they respect talent, and I have tremendous talent. So, as long as I'm in charge, I think as somebody like me, there's not too many people like me, but as long as I'm in there, I think the aliens will be very happy. And they also like the fact that I'm anti-illegal aliens, the ones from outer space. Those aren't legal or illegal. They're a different category of alien, but they like the fact that I'm pro outer space alien, but anti-illegal alien.
Oh, okay.
So where do you stand at this time? You had meant one of your big campaign promises in 2016 was to build a wall. You qualified it as a big, beautiful wall. The wall never got built. I was wondering if that was for your next term, if there is next term, and I know you expect that there will be, will you build this wall?
Okay, well, first of all, and I don't blame you because you're getting fake facts, the wall was built. The wall was built. We have a few places we have to sort of, finishing touch. They're called finishing touches. Like if you have a house and it's 95% built, you don't say, oh, you don't have a house. The wall just needs, maybe a few more of those big, beautiful slats, and then it'll be complete. It's not 100% done, but it's about 97% done. So whatever you're hearing is probably AI or fake news because I have seen it, and it's a big, beautiful wall of slats.
Wow. You mentioned in the recent interview that you are better looking than Kamala. Is that, but everybody's is good looking their own way,
No, I'm not. I didn't say. She's not ugly. Okay,
Mm,
we have eyes. We can't call her ugly,
yeah.
but she's sort of regular. Regular. She has a nice, makeup and hair, and then all of a sudden people think she's a 10. I'm a 10, whether I'm in a polo shirt, a Depends diaper, or a beautiful navy suit. Doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I'm a 10 all the time. So me saying I'm better looking than a Kombucha Harris is not an insult to her. If Brad Pitt walked in here and I said, he's a little bit better looking than you, Hatem,
Mm.
you wouldn't say, how dare you? You'd say, okay, well, but he's putting me in that category. I should be happy that I'm even being compared to somebody like that. And that's sort of what I meant. I hate her policies. I think she's radical left, and I think she's not too smart. But on the looks, she's fine. I didn't say I could have said I've said a lot worse about a lot uglier women. But, she should take it as a compliment that I was even comparing her to me as sort of one of the most handsome, beautiful people on earth that I am.
You got in a lot of
Me.
trouble in the 2016 campaign because you had said that women that you should grab them by the pussy. Um, I was wondering if you regret having said that.
Well, once again, that's a sort of
You want
fake
to.
news distortion. I didn't say have to, I said you can, like an option. It wasn't mandatory. It was sort of, like an option. Like if you're a celebrity, you can.
Mm.
And this is the thing that people don't understand. Okay, that people don't understand. I wasn't saying walk around town grabbing women by the pussy. I wasn't saying that. Nobody would ever say that. I was saying, and maybe it's my experience, maybe there's celebrities out there who aren't as handsome and rich and talented as me, and they don't have this. But when I walk into a room, the panties drop. It's like a Tom Jones concert. So it's not like I do it, it happens. It sort of happens, and then it's like a free-for-all. And that's what happens when you're extremely rich and talented. Now, other people might have different experiences, but I never did it without, if a woman makes eye contact with me, as you may know, that's called consent. Okay. If a woman makes eye contact with me, it's just that's
That's the
common
law.
knowledge that
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's consent. Yeah, that's just very common basic.
Uh,
And they want to rewrite the rules of sort of dating and hooking up and intercourse all of a sudden because Trump's here. So now we have to change the rules. But eye contact equals consent. That's been known for many, many, many years before we went totally woke.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. A lot of like politicians now are endorsing you and joining your team, like RFK, like Tulsi Gabbard. Like, uh, what do you think? Why are they doing this now and leaving their own campaigns or their own parties and joining you? Like, what's the reason? Is there some kind of
Well,
deal like you're making with them, or they just like you?
I think it's both. I made a deal, of
Mhm.
course, like it's politics, it's not anything shady or illegal,
Mm.
but we did a deal that I will put RFK, he will be part of my administration in terms of possibly running the FDA.
Ah,
And Tulsi Gabbard, might be sort of a Secretary of Defense type person. She has strong military, so we might put the. But the real reason they joined me was not for that. They were saying to me, "We'd like to endorse you, sir. Do you see a place for us in your cabinet?" They didn't say you have to do this, sir, or else you. But I think they see that um, Crayon Harris is a sort of failed candidate, very radical left, and they see that I care about our country and free speech and prosperity. And they're not perfect people to me. I'm not perfect to them. But
mm.
I think they see that I'm good and I can be great for them. And that Harris is a total disaster waiting to happen.
Very interesting. We can talk about the VP picks for both, your VP pick and Kamala's. Your choice with JD Vance is under a lot of attack. They saying that he is not a nice person, shouldn't be a VP, and they don't see, you know, uh, future with him, and they think you just picked him up because you think he's gonna be the next continue with the Trump movement. Also, he criticizes you a few years ago, so you can forgive.
It's actually not forgiveness. It's sort of like I got this idea from a show. There was a show called Game of Thrones. I don't know if you heard of it. It was pretty big for a while. But there was a character, and he, I'm going to use, if I can use blunt language, he cut off his penis and made him his slave, basically. And his name was Theo, but he went by Reek after that. And I looked at that and I said, that's what I like in a leader, somebody who'll do that. So it's not that I forgave JD. What I did was I made life so horrible for him that he realized the only way to survive in this world is to support Trump. And I always like that. I always like when I see somebody come crawling back. It makes me feel like double right. I was right the first time, and now you're coming back and begging to be part of my team. And so it feels like a double right. So he is talented. He did say bad things about me, but I can look past it because only a baby, only a baby on the left would say, "Oh, you said in 1982, you said a bad thing, sir. I can't support you." We don't do that on the right. We don't do that in MAGA. We say, "What's good? What's good now? What will help? What will work?" And we don't worry about that other stuff. So JD's a smart guy, and not that this isn't important, but he's connected to a lot of billionaires in tech in Silicon Valley, so that doesn't hurt. And so we're good. I think we're good. I don't. We didn't need him for charisma, as you know. Nobody has more charisma than me. Look at Mike Pence. He was my VP in 2016. That guy's 0.0 charisma. So we didn't need somebody to be a star. We need somebody who was smart. And like you said, I think he is somebody who's dedicated now to MAGA.
A lot of people are worried that that you're going to try to hold on to power. That, of course, this would be your second term. You wouldn't be eligible to run again to be president after the next 4 years. And people are worried that you're going to try to hang on to power. You're going to establish yourself as a dictator. What would you say to those people?
First of all, I don't want to be a dictator. Okay. But what I would say to that point is they stole an election from me in 2020. Okay. Now, in life, when somebody steals something from you, they have to give it back, and sometimes they have to pay damages. Like it's not just good enough. Oh, we stole I stole this from you, and I returned it 3 years later. Well, no, there's a penalty to be paid also. So we may look into having our Supreme Court. I was talking to Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito, two very good, very smart justices, excuse me. And they said they would be open to a case arguing that a president has a right to a third term if a term was stolen, as sort of like a penalty term. So we're going to look into that. I don't guarantee it. I don't say that that's definitely going to happen, but we could explore that legally to see if we can get a third penalty term for theft.
Okay. I don't want to upset you on, I know that this is a very sensitive topic, but there is no proof that the election was stolen.
And that's why, the Democrats are good at stealing, because they erased all the proof.
So how did they exactly steal it from you? Like which state are you talking about?
Well, Georgia, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin,
there's a voice
Pennsylvania
of the governor of Georgia who's Republican and saying that you lost and there's no more votes.
Well, Brian Kemp is a complicated guy because I think he does a lot of good things, but he's also very stupid when it comes to election intel. So I don't think it's a strong point. That's why I focus on somebody like Mike Lindell, the My Pillow legal scholar, who is very smart on election intelligence.
Is he the one that told you about the consent with just looking at you? Was that?
No. He's no, he doesn't know anything about that because he used to be on crack. So he actually, that's part of the consent eye contact laws. If you're a crackhead, it doesn't apply to you.
Gotcha. Your interview with Elon Musk, went viral, obviously, but are you really gonna have him? What do you think of him? Because you attacked him before, he attacked you, and then, now you okay. And then he wants to be in the government. He want a position in what do you trust him, and would you have him? Would you give him a position?
I think he's a very talented guy. He's a very smart guy. And he's got, I have billions of dollars, but he has like hundreds of billions of dollars. And I would give him a position in the government for two reasons. One is I think he's smart. I think he's very forward looking, very into the future, very into space and technology. So we need people like that, smart people. But also, if he joins the government, I think he'll have to like divest from some of his wealth. And then maybe he'll lose a lot of that money. And then when he's out of my administration, I'll say, oh, look, you only have 4 billion left and I have 5 billion. So now I'm richer than you. So it's sort of a win-win. If I can get his talent.
Do you think because Elon Musk is so much wealthier than you that he's necessarily much smarter, more talented, more able than you? To what extent do you believe that the measure of a man is his wealth?
I think we're both very smart. I think obviously there's more money in tech right now. It's sort of exploding with money. I have, as you know, dominated real estate and am considered one of the great real estate, if not the greatest real estate person in history. And I think when you look at him, I think if I had gotten into computers, I had a chance to get into computers, and I did very well with computers. I was, in my learning annex class, I finished top 3 in my learning annex class on my Apple II GS, if you remember the computers from a long time ago. But I opted to go real estate instead of computers. But, I've told Elon, as good as he is with computers and tech, I could have been better. So I don't think it's he got into the right industry. I was already more concerned with business, but if I had to do it over again, I'd probably be twice as wealthy as Elon Musk, if not 3 times. Bezos plus Musk times 2.
Would you do you think you would beat any president? Would you be able to beat Obama in the election if you went against each other? Who's the one president that you think you could not beat in any election, if they exist?
I will tell you that there's one. Okay, I will say one, just so people don't go, oh, Trump said he could beat everybody. The one president I would probably not be able to beat would be George Washington. Because nobody was going to beat George Washington. That's like if Michael Jordan had run for mayor of Chicago after winning 6 titles, he would have won. You can't, there's certain things. So after he won our independence, okay, and whenever it was, 17 something, it certainly was in 1619. But when he won our independence, I think I would have even supported him because I don't think anybody was going to beat George Washington, after that sort of a victory. But other than that, there's nobody I wouldn't beat and beat very strongly.
Even Obama.
Oh, especially Obama. Because Obama is probably the reason why I got elected. All of a sudden, my supporters saw a black in the White House. It's called the White House. It's not called the Black House. And my supporters saw a black in the White House, and it sort of jolted them. And I would have had the communications to tell them in 2008, if I was running against him, it's called the White House, everybody, wake up. And they would have woken up and fought very strongly, and we would have defeated him. But instead, they had to see it in practice. And then I showed up to save the day from Obama and crooked Hillary.
No, of course. Let's do the last 2 questions. Dan?
Last 2 questions. Well, America's very divided right now. Obviously, you're one of the causes of that division because so much of America is so opposed to you. Do you have anything to say to the so-called never Trumpers, to the people? If you're the president again, if you're elected again, you're going to be their president too. I don't know if you have anything to say to them, to the people that oppose you, to try to heal, to try to unite a country that is so fractured at this time.
That's a great question. Thank you. I would say to them very simply, you don't have to like me. I might not like you. You don't like everybody. Not everybody likes everybody. It's not one big kumbaya. But what you will have with me as president, okay, I'm running for president of the United States, not best friend in the United States. You will have prosperity, you will have wealth, you will have safety, and you will have respect. And I think that's all people care about, if we're being honest. You will have wealth and you will have safety, and our country will be respected. You don't have to like everything I say. Sometimes I say things that, can be mean. That's okay. But imagine how tough I am on the rest of the world. So we will win, and that success will go to everybody, people who like me, people who don't like me. So make the right choice and vote for who will make good things happen goodly instead of people who will have bad things happen not so goodly.
My last question is, there is this popular podcast that I'm not sure if the guy makes fun of you. Have you heard of Making Podcasts Great Again? There's this show. There's this guy called J-L Cauvin. I don't know if you like him or not, but he kind of like makes fun of you a little bit. Do you ever listen to the show, and would you go to one of his show? Do you think he does a good? Yeah, because I know you watch TV. You used to watch SNL all the time. How you feel about him versus Alec Baldwin and all that?
Well, I think he does it better than Alec Baldwin, but Alec Baldwin was a complete disgrace, I think. What I would say is I have listened to the show, and yes, I know he's a sort of radical left, never Trump type person. But what he doesn't realize is that sometimes he says things on the show that make sense, and I use them. Okay. So while he thinks he's doing some nasty, oh, look at me, I'm taking down Trump, what he's actually doing is helping Trump. So, but I would expect no less from the radical left. They think they're doing something smart, and it turns out they're doing very dumb things. So I've heard it a few times. I'm not impressed, but I don't think he's the worst.
Yeah, he does pretty good. So a world with Trump, the last minute, if you can tell the world how, if you win the election, how the world will be with Trump in it, like with the United States and then internationally.
Within the United States, you're going to see the stock market hit record highs, beyond record highs. You're going to see taxes get lowered. You're going to see police on the street cleaning up things, stopping criminals. You're going to see homeless people disappearing into nice camps where they never return from. And you're going to see in the world, you're going to see peace and strength. You're going to see China all of a sudden come to the negotiating table. You're going to see Russia stop invading Ukraine when we just basically say you can have it. We're going to say it's officially Russia, so enjoy your new territory. So that's how you stop a fight. And we're just going to have, and Israel, I'm going to talk to my friend Bibi. He's a tough guy, and we're not supporting him the way we need to. So I'm just going to, how Publishers Clearinghouse would show up with a check. Remember, like he'd show up with a big check. Well, the first day I'm going to show up to Bibi's house with a big blank check and say, we're not holding you back anymore, Bibi. Go get him. And we're going to see peace and strength and prosperity. That's what's going to happen. And that's all, by the way, in my first 12 hours.
Oh, wow. But you forgot that Bibi said that, he congratulated Biden right away, even though the election was stolen. You're going to forget about that.
You know what? It's more important than that. I didn't like him for a long time because of that, but you get over it. I won't forget it, but we have bigger things to deal with than, we have the world, and we have war, and we have terrorism that we have to deal with. So we're going to do that. And I think the American people should like that Trump is saying, I'll put country and world ahead of my own feelings sometimes.
And maybe a Palestinian state. And we call it Trump. You would like that.
I'm not too big on a two-state solution, but if one of the states was called Trumpistan, well, that might actually get me, maybe I have to talk to Bibi again and say, you know what, Bibi, I think Trumpistan sounds pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Or Stan, more like a Stan, so it can fit in the Middle East. Afghanistan, you can turn it to Trumpistan, so it can be.
Okay. You know what? Yeah. And I think I understand a position just opened up in my cabinet for Director of Middle East Naming.
Ah, there you go. So then, are you going to vote for Mr. Trump?
Well, probably not, but I do appreciate you talking to us, Mr. Trump.
Notice Kamala Harris hasn't been here. She's afraid. She wants death to America, not live from America.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And she want to take Trump's stand to back to be Afghanistan, bring us back to the old ages.
That's exactly right.
Well,
very good.
Mr. President, thank you so much. What people want to follow you, saw you, is watch your shows or do, what should they do, where they should go?
Well, they should go to this website. I do it to kind of hide myself, my identity, but there's a website, J-L Comedy, very simple, jlcomedy.com, where you'll find all sorts of great comedy specials, podcast links. It's a great place where I get my message out, disguised as a left of center, tall, failing comedian. So it's like the perfect disguise.
Very clever.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Okay. What about you, Dan? Oh, you want to say something?
No, that's just very clever. I have to give credit where it's due. To disguise yourself as a left-wing comedian is actually quite clever.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely.
I can be found, at Dan Naturman on all the social media if you're interested in following me.
There you go. And Live from America, this is where you hear presidents talk with no filters, but not Kamala because she doesn't want to be here yet. But you never know. Maybe we'll get her soon. So thank you so much for doing this, Mr. President.
Thank you.